Down here at the bottom right, we have our Protoss player. It's the last hope of FXO.
FXO, Order!
Order. They do not have a Z sound in the Korean language, by the way, so that's why you often see it pronounced as like a J sound.
At the top right of the map, we have the Terran player, and he doesn't have that sound in his nickname. Yes.
Slayers, MMA!
There he is.
This is one of the new maps in the map pool, by the way, and there was a very nice interview on svworld.com where they, well, basically talked with the creator of the map, how he came up with the idea, how the map developed over time. So if you want to check that out, go to svworld.com and have a look at it. It's kind of interesting to see how the mapping community develops maps like this. So big shout out to all those guys who are working hard developing esports maps. And yep, if you want to check the interview out, once again, svworld.com is the place to look for it.
I never thought of that site as being a word. I always thought it was ESFI. I never thought of it, when I read it, I never thought SV.
Well, it's ESFI, but I don't know, I just... Well, it's ESFI, but still.
Is this the Gussel tournament? This is the GSL, right? Oh, never mind. I'm just trolling. Anyway, we do...
do you want an accidental elbow into your face?
We do have a very fast Nexus going down for Oz here, by the way.
I remember someone telling me that the Terran player we are currently observing is actually called Ma.
Who was that? Who would say such a silly thing like that?
Okay, so after being signed corrected, it is esfiworld.com. You happy? Now you make me cry.
No, I'm just saying, I never thought of it. You know how sometimes, I don't know if you've experienced this, but sometimes you'll have a word that you've read over and over again and you pronounce it the same way you read it over and over. And then when you actually hear someone say it in a conversation, you're like, oh, I didn't, that word's pronounced completely differently than I thought it was.
You're perfectly right about it, but yeah. Okay, so I stand corrected, and I'm sorry for it, but still in this Terran versus Protoss, we have Gateway, and this is the first Gateway being built, so he starts with the Nexus first.
Nexus first there, pretty gutsy. Of course, we did have Slayers MMA go for a barracks into Command Center, so he's going to actually just pull off this Nexus first just fine. This Marine is trying to do some harassment. He's not lost a probe yet, but the bunker might complete, actually. This is kind of crazy.
Especially because this SCV is hiding, and we have 2 Marines, so...
He's going to complete the bunker.
Yeah, he is.
Oh my goodness.
He's not in range of the Nexus, but he certainly is in range of the pylon.
Wow. And he's actually making more Zealots. He's not have a Stalker out because Core is just about to complete. He's actually going to lose a pylon to this bunker.
And Slayers MMA is already building a 3rd command center because he realizes how much pressure he can actually put onto his opponent, and that Oz won't be able to defend against it. With the pylon being in place, it is a horrible situation for the FXO player, and MMA is capitalizing on this fact. He's getting that 3rd command center. Wow.
That is really cool by MMA to do that, to go for the 3rd command center instantly. He's going to get so far ahead.
And he does have the first Stalker, but look at this positioning, and another pylon is about to die. And
he needs to go before that pylon dies. He's going to be so far behind. He brings out a bunch of probes as well. Takes out the SCV.
Wow.
So he can focus down the bunker, but he loses the Stalker. He could have pulled it back.
And now he can micro with the Marines once again. Look at how many probes he's killing. This is horrible.
If he'd saved the Stalker, he could have microed against them. Now he does have another Stalker out. The Marines are finally going to die. MMA even stops microing those Marines because he's like, you know what? I'm sorry for our head. It doesn't even matter if these Marines die right now.
MMA is eating him alive. He has 3 orbitals now. He has 3 mules. And already 28 SCVs against 24, and he still has only to defend 1 single ramp in order to defend those 2 bases and the 3rd command center.
Wow. This is not a good start for Oz. He was hoping that, you know, MMA would have 1 racks in the command center and just be like, all right, well, I'm behind. I'm just gonna try and mac her up.
he's so
But
far
instead,
behind.
he
It's
was just like, all right, well, I'll
unbelievable.
just attack you then.
And the thing is, I was going on a little. I wanted actually to elaborate a little bit on how the designers of this map thought about.
Hold on a second. Oz is responding
Wow.
by getting a third base immediately, and that is actually a smart move because that is the way to get back into it.
He knows
you
that
have
he's
to,
so
you
far
have
behind.
to take that risk. You have to take that risk to get out from being so far behind.
Yeah, exactly. He knows he is miles behind his opponent, that MMA is such a huge lead now, so the only thing that he can do is play even more risky. Risk dying right now and just try to get back into the game.
It reminds me of Stork, actually. Very, very one of the strongest Brood War Protoss players. That's what he would do, basically. If he got behind, he would often double expand or get an extra expansion to try and get back into the game. So very smart play to do that. It's a risk, but it's kind of a risk you have to take.
And while we have a quick break, and now, well, not really a break, but the action is slowing down just a tiny little bit as both players are trying now to get into macro mode. Oz is trying to, well, stabilize and get that Twilight Council. I just want to say a little bit about how the map is designed. The creators of this particular map, just try to develop a map where the more bases you take, the more paths you open for your opponent to attack you. You can secure a very safe second base. Even the third base is not all too much of a problem. As soon as you kill those rocks between the two bases, you are in a position that you can defend very well against incoming attacks to your third and to your second base. But as soon as you try to take a fourth or even a fifth base, you open up so many different paths for your opponent to attack you that it's kind of very hard to defend, and your opponent always has the choice to make. Does he attack the base that is closest to him, which is not that hard to defend for you, or does he go a long distance trying to flank you from the side? This is at least the idea that is behind this map, and also creates that S shape that we see on the minimap.
Yes.
Yeah, and right now we have Oz just trying to secure at least one of those Xanaga watchtowers, because MMA already took possession on one, and throwing down to the right side of the map a warp-in pylon that has not been scouted by MMA just yet.
Plus, this map has a flying shark.
Yeah, it has a flying shark. I think it actually has two of them.
How sweet is that? Yeah, very smart move here by Oz, going for this base. There's the shark. Oh, we almost saw it. There it is. Pretty sweet. Flying sharks are... I met someone today with the username Underwater Shark, and I asked him if there were sharks that weren't underwater, and he said yes, and they're very frightening. And apparently they're on this map. Very scary indeed. Anyway, MMA with a really crisp build here. Again, like you were talking about before, 1-1 and Stim all finished at the same time, along with the armory. He's immediately started 2-2. He's got combat shields. He's getting concussive shells. He's just going to have every upgrade in the book.
We have 65 workers for Oz compared to the 74 for MMA, and don't forget that MMA has 3 mules at its disposal as well. But if FXO Oz has the time to complete the Templar Archive and get, well, and get Storm, then he has a really nice weapon against the bio army of his opponent.
True.
But that will take quite a long time.
Very true. Yeah, and he's going to need it because MMA, he's basically got all his upgrades. So I'm not... Actually, how much production facilities does he have? That might be his next step, is start getting more production facilities. He only has like 6 or 7 barracks right now, so he's probably going to have to get more of those, and then he'll be able to start really putting out the units. But in the meantime, continue to get that tech, getting some ghosts out, because he's already probably scouted the Templar Archives. Very smart.
One of the pylons at the top left has been detected, by the way. We have 2 Marines, 3 Marines taken down. Storm is on its way, but will it be ready in time? Certainly
no,
doesn't look like it.
Not for this attack.
No, it won't.
Oh, and he's going to land the factory to make even more of a barrier for the Zealots. Beautiful move by MMA. He's just going to target down that Nexus, and with no path of approach for the Zealots, he just has to sit there and let it die.
And flanking was actually a really good idea from MMA. He had no problem whatsoever, and this is exactly what the map design is intended to do. So he had to be a little bit more careful. Also, that is, he didn't scout the path that Slayer's MMA's army would take, and therefore he lost the Nexus without even being able to put up a fight. More and more barracks are being added now for MMA. Finally, the scouting
gets that factory.
Factory is down.
Glints
And
back
now
away.
he starts to build 2
Oh no, where's the rest of the army?
Way too late. This is just a horrible spot for Oz to be in. He has 150 supply against 186, but he doesn't have a single upgrade. He's just started the forges, while MMA is already on 2 upgrades for his fire army.
Huge EMP gets all of the Templar, but the one, he cast the one storm. That is his only storm. He has no storms left in his army. MMA could just charge up here and dispatch the army. He's going in. The force fields go down the middle, trapping a lot of them. The Zealots are able to get a lot of hits off, but the DPS is so high. MMA may clinch the first game of the Team League for Team Slayers if he can push through and kill off the last of these units. He has broken through. The Nexus is going to go down for the 3rd time, and MMA is all but assured victory. FXO Oz has not been able to clinch it here, has not been able to bring it to an ace match. Game is not over yet, but Slayers MMA is miles, light years ahead of Oz and going in for the kill. Oz is going to pull off something miraculous in the next 5 seconds if he is going to have any chance in this game. I don't see it happening. This last Templar goes down. Ladies and gentlemen, GG is imminent.
If you're honest about it, FXO Oz was so far behind from the start of the game after that bunker completed, and Slayers MMA was able to do so much damage. From this point on, it was basically a losing battle, and the only thing that Oz could hope for was a huge mistake by MMA.
GG.
MMA didn't make any mistakes, so Oz just didn't stand a chance in this last engagement. Even if it wasn't for the winning EMP, he was already on 2 upgrades, while Oz was just adding the forges, so therefore it was just no chance for Oz at all. And MMA takes the win for Team Slayers. Slayers with 5 points against 3. FXO stands defeated.
And ladies and gentlemen, that means that Team Slayers has won the very first match in this season's Team League. They are going to the round of 8. They're going to the quarterfinals of this Team League. Remember, it is, as I mentioned earlier, a double elimination, so FXO is not completely out yet, but in a couple weeks they're going to play the loser of one of these other matches that we have in the first 2 weeks, and still have a chance to get in, but they are now 1 loss away, and Slayers has secured their spot in the playoffs.
Oz is really disappointed now, and he just didn't think that this particular bunker could be completed. He was already harassing the SCV with a pro, but suddenly that SCV just snuck into a position where he couldn't damage it at all. The bunker finishes, and from that point on, it was a horrible situation for Oz to be in. The Marines kept streaming into the bunker. He took out the first pylon, supply blocked Oz, took down a second pylon. So many SCVs, probes died, and well, MMA realized, hey, I'm doing so much damage, I didn't even expect that. I just wanted to harass him a little bit. He threw down that 3rd command center, and from this point on, he had 3 mules and a lot more probes than his opponent had SCVs, and well,
very smart.
To be honest about it, and at that point in time, the game was already over.
If you think about it, that means that MMA got 2 games in a row where he won partly because of an early advantage to do a bunker that shouldn't have completed but did.
Well, he kind of got
because he did the same thing against Lenok. He had that bunker finish and forced Lenok to make a few extra jugglings. Obviously not the game-deciding moment, but got a little bit lucky there.
Well, in the last game, I have to say that Oz had... Well, he could have pulled another probe in order to kill the SCV. But we are having a quick look at the results of today, just to let everything sink in. We had Choya playing against Crank. Crank not only able to defeat Choya, but also the second player for the best fell victim to Slayer's Crank. He defeated the best before Lucky stepped in to take charge.
Yeah, he certainly did. Defeating the best. Huge all-in with Marine Tank Banshee SCVs, and Lucky though really started cleaning house with Team Slayers, taking out Crank, Clyde, Puzzle, but MMA, the final boss of the team, stepped in and managed to beat Lucky and Lenok, and then defeating Oz as well.
I don't think that Lucky will have kitchen duty for quite a while, because he was the only player from FXO who was able to take down a Slayers player today.
It's true. It's true. He was the only player to get any wins. He did get 3, but the magic number is 5. 5 is right out, and Slayers MMA was able to pull in that 5th victory for the Team Slayers. So that is going to do it. Remember, if you want to watch more Team League, we're going to be back here same time tomorrow. Go ahead and go to gomtv.net/tickets. Wait, is it ticket or tickets? I forget.
It's tickets.
Just tickets with the plural. Okay. We are going to go to a couple interviews here in just a moment as well, so don't go anywhere just yet. But make sure, while we're waiting for those interviews to get us set up, you go ahead and check out the ticket site. You can see all our different options for, we even have yearly passes for the GSL and the GSTL. Here we go.
GSTL 시즌 1의 새로운 얼굴 최지원입니다. 곰TV 시청자 여러분들께 이렇게 인사를 드리게 돼서 정말 영광이고요. 제가 오늘 데뷔 첫 방송이라 많이 떨리는데요. 현장에 나와서 직접 경기를 지켜보니 정말 박진감 넘치고 멋진 경기가 아니었나 생각이 듭니다. 자, 그럼 이번 시즌 첫 번째 MVP 선수
She is saying that this is her first broadcast for the season, so she's a little nervous. So
She can't be nervous. She's pretty hot. She can get away with
선수가
it.
되셨는데요. 기분이 어떠세요?
이렇게
Hey, I'm just honest about it. Don't start laughing at me.
해서 너무 좋고요. 그리고 MVP
she asked what his opinion is of being the MVP of the match.
네, 문성원 선수 정말 기분이 좋으실
And
것
he
같아요.
says,
저한테까지
I'm
기분
very
좋은
happy
에너지가 전해지는 것
to be the
같네요.
MVP and very happy to be able to contribute to his team.
2회 우승의 주역이라고 해도 과언이 아닌데요. 저번 시즌에는 조금 주춤하셨던 걸로 알고 있어요. 어떻게 이제 다시 살아나시는 건가요?
예, 이번 시즌은 다시 저번 시즌에 보여드렸던 부진한 모습을 떨쳐버리고
Last season
좋은 모습으로
in the GSTL, the Slayers didn't do very well.
네, 다음 경기가 벌써부터
But he
기대가
says
되는데요.
they are
그리고
two-time
마지막에
champions, so they're definitely planning on doing better this season.
앞두고 있는 김학수
It's actually
선수를
awesome that we
이기셨어요.
get the
기분이 더
translations
좋으실 것 같아요.
from
어떠세요?
from our back crew. So that is actually brilliant. Thank you very much, Jay.
Mad props to Jay.
Big shout out.
살짝은 까다로웠는데 이렇게 이기게 돼서 약간 심리적으로 우위에 쓴 것 같아요. 그래서 16강에서도 좋은 모습 보여드릴 수 있도록 하겠습니다.
네, 16강
They asked him about his history with Oz. He says that because he lost to Oz in the last GSL, he's happy to get revenge and win against him today.
주인공인 임요한 감독님 만나서 몇 마디 나눠보도록 하겠습니다. 임요한 감독님, 지난 10년간 임요한
Now they're
선수를
gonna review the coach.
보내셨어요. 아직은 감독님의 말이 조금 어색하실 것 같은데요.
임요한
하지만
Emperor,
우선 오늘 정말
so boxer.
축하드리고요. 개막전 승리 그리고 감독 부임 후 첫 승리세요. 기분이 남다르실 것 같은데 한마디 해주시죠.
예, 10년 좀 넘게 그 선수 생활을 하다 감독을 처음 하니까 뭔가 느낌이 많이 다르네요. 더구나 오늘 첫 경기에서 선수들이 이렇게 기쁨의 첫
It's first time being a coach in 10 years.
선수들이 자랑스럽고요.
So it feels
오늘 문성원
different
선수가 최고의 경기력을 보여줘서
being here as a coach instead of a player.
대단한 선수로 키워낸 것 같아서 좀 뭔가 뿌듯합니다.
네, 감독님하고 선수분 너무 기분
And
좋아 보이시고요. 너무 보기 좋으세요.
He's happy that his
앞으로도
team
좋은
turned
경기
out
펼쳐주실
to
것
be
같고요.
strong today.
1, 2세트 이기고 2대 0으로 앞서가실 때까지만 해도 오늘 경기 쉽게 풀리겠구나 하셨을 것 같은데 의외로 박빙이었어요. 저도 손에 땀을 쥐고 보았는데요. 혹시 팬들이 보고 있는데 패배하는 건 아닐까 마음 졸이셨을 것 같은데 어떠셨어요?
네, FXO의 그 저그라인이 워낙에 강력해서 어떻게 좀 헤쳐나갈까 걱정을 많이 했었는데 아니나 다를까 좀
He said they were up 2-0, but FXO had a strong Zerg lineup, so it made it difficult today.
경기를 비교적 어려웠지만 그나마 좀 쉽게 가져갈 수 있었던 것 같습니다.
네, 오늘 정말 기억에 남을 경기가 될 것 같은데요.
But MMA
가장 먼저
did his best and
8강
was able to take the
본선에
win
오르게
for the team.
되셨어요. 지난번 시즌에 성적이 좋지
Rihanna in the background,
않았지만 이번
looking
새롭게
bored
감독이
again.
되신 만큼 그리고 스타트도 좋게 끊은 만큼 더 각오와 포부가 남다르실 것 같아요. 한마디 해주시죠.
네, 지난 시즌에
looking into the wrong direction.
짐 싸서 숙소행을 당했는데요. 이번 시즌에는 이렇게 첫 경기부터 이겼고 앞으로 남은 시간이 많아서
Last season, they were knocked out early,
가장 마지막까지 남고 마지막에 컵을
but they were able to get their first win this season. So he feels it's going to be a better
앞으로
season than it was last
우승할
time.
수 있을지 기대해 보겠습니다. 네, 지금까지 2012 GSTL 시즌 1 개막전 승리의 주인공인 MVP 선수와 감독님을 만나봤습니다.
All right. So, both MMA and Boxer having a lot of confidence for their team for this season. And, it was a real big surprise how poorly Slayers did last season. Really excited to see them pulling it together and winning their first match. And hopefully showing us some really great games this season. And showing us what they're made of, showing us what they're capable of. Because they have a really, really strong lineup. So, always good to see great games coming out of the Slayers bench. FXO, remember, is still going to have a chance. They're not completely knocked out yet. They are going to play, I believe, actually, I'll have to double check, but all the details of the format are on GOMTV.net in the forum section, so you can find it there, and it tells you all about how things work, exactly who plays against who. But basically, FXO is going to have to play one of the losers either tomorrow or next week. Okay, they're going to play the loser of tomorrow's match.
And tomorrow we have OGS against ZeNEX. It's going to be pretty cool as well.
Yeah, that's going to be fun too. Guess not as many like big names coming out of ZeNEX, but definitely some big names in the OGS team that are possible. Although we have one less big name on the OGS team now.
Exactly, MSC is now with SK. And here's tomorrow's match, and of course next week as well. Week 2 in Group B is NA's Hoseo against StarTale. And we have TSL against Incredible Miracle.
Yep, that's going to be great. And remember again, so like it says there, FXO is going to play the loser of tomorrow's match, and the winner of that consolation match will still get into the quarterfinals along with Slayers and the winners of the other matches. And of course, our winners and runner-up from last season, MVP and Prime, they're seeded directly into the quarterfinals for this team league. So it's going to be great. It's going to be awesome. And wow, I really hope that the rest of the team league follows after today's example, because we had some awesome games, some really great play, some really cool stuff. We almost had a ceremony, but then Lucky chickened out, but it's okay. Yeah, so that was just really great games. Had an excellent time casting it. It's really good to be back here.
Definitely.
Hanging out with everyone here, seeing all the Korean casters, seeing all the players, and good to be back in the studio, that's for sure.
Yep, pretty cool. I'm looking forward to the next cast, and I think we are casting tomorrow as well, aren't we?
Yep, yes, we are.
Back tomorrow for OGS against ZeNEX.
Yep. So I believe that is going to do it for us today. I don't think we have any more interviews coming up. Hopefully someone will let me know about that. Looks like we do not have any more interviews. So that is going to do it for today. We hope you guys enjoyed it thoroughly. Remember, go check out the tickets page on GOMTV.net. Check me out on Twitter, @Moltrap. Check out Caldor, @Caldor. And we will see you tomorrow for some more great Team League action.
Bye-bye, guys.